Hello my friends, David Kessler here and welcome back to the studio. This is part 2 of our multi-part series where I show you my process for painting. And if you haven't watched part 1, you really need to watch part 1 because it lays the groundwork for everything that we're going to be doing in the following videos. What we've done so far, we've talked about the materials, I talked about the paint I'm going to be using, and we talked about the concept for the color that we're going to be using for this painting. And the concept for the color is going to be an analogous color scheme. Analogous colors are those that are adjacent to each other, 4 colors adjacent to each other on the color wheel. 4 to 5 colors. So we're going to be using blue, green, blue, blue, violet, violet, and I may even, skip over here and toss some red violet in because I love red violet, just for fun, right? So that's going to be the color concept. And what we're going to do is we're going to have blue is going to form our dominant color, right? So the chromatic dominance for the painting is going to be blue, whereas when you look at the painting at the end, it should look like a blue, predominantly blue painting. Blue-green is going to be our non-dominant color, meaning it's going to cover less surface area than the dominant color. And then my accent colors are going to be blue, violet, and violet. And maybe I'll even skip one of those and go right to red violet. But we'll wait and see what happens as we get into the painting. So by predetermining what my color combination is going to be and putting those colors out on the palette, I've eliminated 98% of the color choices and the color decisions that I have to make as I paint, which is huge, huge. That way I can focus on the shapes and the values and not have to worry about the color. If you haven't done this before, you'll be amazed how it frees you up during the process of painting, which is what you want. You want fewer decisions to make as you paint, not more decisions to make. Believe me, it makes it a lot easier. All right, so that's our color concept. Let's go to the palette, look at the colors we're going to use, and we're going to do a little mixing. Okay, here we are at the palette. Now let's get started. I'm going to tell you what colors we're using, then we're going to do a little bit of mixing to get us ready to paint. So the first color, remember these are golden heavy body colors. This is benzimidazolone yellow, otherwise known as Benz yellow. Now I might not actually use this color, but I always put it out for paintings, whether I think I'm going to use it or not, because I use it a lot for mixing. So if I need to mix a green from one of these blues, then I'll have it out, and I won't have to break my rhythm of painting to get paint out. The second is pyrrole orange, medium magenta, light violet, cobalt blue, cerulean blue. This is, Golden's name is anthraquinone blue, but I've mixed this with some black, some Mars black, so I call this indigo. Cobalt turquoise, teal, and this is a custom mixture of mine called what I call Minty G, which is essentially Benz yellow, white, and phthalo green. There's a couple other little secret ingredients in there, but and then titanium white. And notice how much white I have and how much white I use when I paint. This is a thing that students don't do. They'll either have a tiny little bit of white out or they don't put enough white out. They're painting along and they got no white on the palette. So you can't make values with paint without white, okay? Now just a reminder of what we're doing with our color, right? Analogous colors, blue, green, blue, blue, violet, violet, and maybe even some red violet. So dominant color, non-dominant color, accent colors, okay? All right, so first off, let's think about our violet, what we're going to do with our violet. So I'm going to use this. I know my violet's going to be a lighter value violet for the most part. This is kind of a middle violet. Now if I want to make blue violet, I can pull this out, put a little cobalt blue in here to make my blue violet. It's probably going to want to be, fairly light in value. That's a nice blue violet. So I might add a little white to it. Maybe another, a little bit more violet. Okay, blue violet. Now what if I want to use some red violet? Maybe I want to use some red violet. Maybe I'll use this to make the violet redder, because this medium magenta obviously is a cool color. I mean a cool red. So that makes a beautiful, beautiful, woo! It's gorgeous, luscious red violet. We can make that as light as we need to for our purposes. All right, awesome. And also with the cerulean blue, I'm going to want to pull some of that out and use that, because it's going to, since I do have a blue painting, I'm going to need a fair amount of that. So I want to neutralize this color a little bit, meaning I want to knock down the intensity of this color. And to do that, I'm going to use its complement, which is orange. I'm going to mix the orange in here, which is going to make it grayer. And you can already see the difference. I'm going to add some white, because I'm probably not going to use it that dark. I might even need some more that's lighter in value than that. So you can see the difference between this and that. Pretty significant. All right, we're going to do the same thing with our cerulean blue. We're going to neutralize or add orange to reduce the intensity of this color and make it grayer. See, look at the difference in that. White. To make the value lighter, and I can, make it even lighter, of course. So that gives me a couple of different, really 3 different levels of value there. Now with the indigo, it's going to form my darkest value, but it's going to be mostly, pardon me, going to be mostly a kind of a dark middle value. So I'm going to mix a little bit of white with most of this. So that it's not completely sort of blackish looking. Then I'm going to leave this to use right next to my centers of interest. And of course I can make some part of this if I want to significantly lighter. Look how luscious that color is. Isn't that beautiful? And I don't feel the need to put any orange in this really, because it already has the black in it, which makes it already a little bit grayer. All right, so cobalt turquoise. Big pile of that. There again, the orange is going to work fine with this, even though it's only partially blue. The blue-green, the orange works great with it. I use that color combination all the time. All right, add more white. And you can see how much white we've already used. Oh man, that's gorgeous. Look at that. Lighter value. There we go. Now that our teal, we're going to do the same thing, right? Same thing. We're going to take it and add some orange to it, because this can be a really bright, can be an extremely bright and extremely intense color, and I don't want it that intense, so I'm going to add some more orange to it to continue to reduce that intensity till I can get it usable. It's certainly more usable. We'll add some white. And more white. Okay. Awesome. Broken record, same thing here, right? We're just going to take a lot of this green, we're going to add some orange to it. Just makes it a rocking, beautiful color. Add a little white. And there you have it. That looks like what we're going to be using for our painting. All right, I've got everything, and you know, I'm going to randomly sort of mix these together on the canvas, but right now for the palette, I've got it arranged the way I need it, from the warmer colors into the cools and into the greens, into the white. Right, hope this was helpful for you to see this and how I mix on the palette with big blocks of color, a lot of mixing, a lot of white. All right, hope this was helpful for you, and we're going to see you on part 3. Thanks.